How are you? Where are you?
Yeah. Oh, I'm in Liverpool.
Liverpool. That's right. I
Yeah.
remember that. I get interviews from over there in the UK, so I always kind of make notes because I'm like, when I do them here, I kind of know identify where everything, but I don't know that I've actually been in. I mean, I've probably been. Last time I was in the UK, I did a bunch of shows. Had a driver. We didn't have a driver at first. First, they said, "Oh, just use a tube. It's fine. It's easy to get around." I said, "I'm going to cuss for a minute. I'm not recording. Am I on live or anything? Am I?" Fuck the tube. I don't even
Yeah.
like the subway in New York. No,
Yeah.
I'm not that guy, man. I'm a West
Yeah.
Coast guy. We don't do no underground and shit. I don't like it. I'm
Yeah.
claustrophobic. I don't like
Yeah.
looking. It's very
Oh, the
confusing.
tube is, isn't it?
It's a
You,
you
you,
guys.
you, you're like sardines, aren't you, on the tube? You can't move.
I don't like the feeling of being claustrophobic down
Yeah.
underground. And I feel I don't know which is north or south or I'm not disorientated like that because I'm
Yeah.
really good at it, knowing where I am. But when I'm down there, nope, I don't know where I'm going, man.
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't know which
Yeah.
way's happening. So it's kind of
Yeah.
funny. But I did the
I
same thing in
know.
New York. I have friends in New York and they're like, this is too. I'm like, no, no. I say we get a car service. I don't give a shit. Or
Yeah.
we take a cab or
Mm.
whatever. I
Well,
can't do
sometimes
it.
you've got to take the train, though, haven't you? Unfortunately.
You do have to sometimes, same thing
Mm.
with like your Italy or some of those places with but trains are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Subways, which the tube to me is just a subway, you know.
Yeah. But
But
the trains in Italy are fantastic because you
yeah,
have like the double decker ones. Yeah.
we have Amway here, so we have those
Mm.
too. And I can shoot down to from where I live down to LA or up to Seattle. So we can go north or south. That's easy. You can go
Yeah.
over to Montana. Well, you can go anywhere. You can go all the way across country. I've never gone across country. I never have that much time. I wish to
No.
Jesus that I
Yeah.
had like, oh, I'm just gonna take 2 weeks to cruise on a train and kick back and just,
No.
enjoy it all. No,
Um,
I
just
don't get
work,
that.
work, work. Yeah.
Well, that's true. So you are a vinyl source, is that correct?
Vinyl scouse. Yeah.
Scouse. What is
Scouse. Yeah.
vinyl?
Well,
Okay.
scouse is a term for someone from Liverpool, a scouser.
Okay,
But
you're a scouser. I like it.
we're called scousers. Yeah. Yeah.
What does the term actually mean? I mean, what is scouse? You're a scouse. So I mean,
I
is it
don't know where the word came from, but it's also the name of like a thick soup as well, like
okay?
like a stew. Yeah,
Are
which
we
we used
just
to
gonna
have here.
is the interview just gonna be a video interview? I mean, just an audio interview or a video interview?
Oh,
I
well,
didn't
I
know.
was just gonna do a video one, yeah, and pick the
I
best
didn't know
bits out.
if
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you need me to go grab a light really quick from downstairs. Am I too dark? Is it okay? Do you want me to grab
Mm,
a light?
I don't think you're too bad, mate. No, I think it's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, as long
All
as
right.
you're
Well,
happy. Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, I'm Mexican, so I'm
Yeah.
dark anyway. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. 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 Well, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on. I always
Yeah,
appreciate
excellent. Yeah, yeah. I was recommended by you by Ed Lewis from
it. Yeah.
Nightfly.
Ed's a good guy. I met him a
Yeah,
couple years ago working with my other. I was on Warrior Records, and I met Ed associated through them, and we just kind of hit it off, and we had some food together, and yeah, just a good.
yeah,
He's a good man, hardworking guy, man. I guess yeah, it's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
guy.
He seems really busy all the time, really maxed out with things to do, speaking to
Yeah.
clients, etc.
Well, I'm privileged to work with him, and that's not just kissing his ass, because that's just the
Yeah,
truth. I think he's a
mhm,
good guy
yeah,
at heart. I've
yeah,
uh, I've ran men most of my life. I'm in the construction business as well as being a musician,
yeah,
so I've
yeah,
owned
yeah,
and ran men my whole life. So I know the difference between a guy who gets in there and gets it done and a guy that's
yeah,
just, pissing around, just
yeah, yeah,
going through the
yeah.
motions. There's two different kind of guys.
Oh, he put me in touch with Louis Prima Jr. as well.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
spoke to him a few months ago.
And I loved Louis Prima Senior, his dad, and I know him because we were on the same label. We were on Warrior
Yeah,
Records
yeah,
together. So I'd never met him, but I knew of him and I know his music, and we've talked like this. And of
yeah.
course, my stepfather was a big band musician, and
Oh,
so
well, similar backgrounds to
I was
senior
super
then,
in. I'm like,
yeah.
who's on the label? I'm like, oh my goodness, I love big band music. It's what a lost art. You just
Yeah,
don't see it. You
yeah,
get if I had all the money in the world, I'd have a horn section so big in my band. I'd be like, give it to me. One time. Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun. I'm joking. I
yeah,
love it so
definitely,
much.
yeah, yeah. So you haven't met Louis Prima Jr. in person yet? No,
I have not. No, I never
no,
met him in person, but you know what's
no.
funny is that even before knowing he was on the label with me, and I've never told him this story, I
Yeah,
had worked with an old producer from Capitol Records in Hollywood years ago, and he was one of the producers that worked with his dad. And this guy, when
yeah.
I met him, I was probably in my late 20s, and this guy had to be in his late 70s. So he was an original
Wow,
guy,
yeah, yeah,
Capitol producer from back in that era, and I got to go to his house and listen to. He'd say literally, "Let's go put on the reels," and he really had the hi-fi
yeah.
reels, like
Oh,
the
wow,
big wall, like you see on a movie, with the big things slide, and there's all these
yeah,
big reel to
yeah,
reels, and he literally
yeah,
put on this. Oh, and his wife wheeled out a cart, made his little cocktails and
wow, yeah.
whatnot, and it was
Oh, nice
funny.
one, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but that was a long time ago. But it was all about
yeah.
his dad and the Letterman. Are you a big band into that type of music?
Oh, I did my research about that kind of music and his dad's music, yeah. So I did
Yeah.
enjoy listening to it, yeah, at the time.
Yeah, it's complicated, the
Yeah.
type pop music or rock music or the type of music that we are you starting the interview? I don't know where we're at. I didn't know if we just
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's relevant, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, I love all styles of music. Again, I
yeah,
love rock music, but I love big band stuff. I just
yeah,
appreciate the talent and the arrangements and the music,
yeah, yeah,
the lost art of that musicianship of all those different types of players. If
yeah,
there's an
yeah,
oboe part, there's actually an oboe player. If there's a French
yeah,
horn, there's
yeah,
a French, and there's all these different people that dedicate themselves to these fine instruments, and you just
yeah,
don't see it that much anymore. So I really love it. And if I get a chance to see a big band,
yeah,
I'm all there. Louis Prima Jr. does a
yeah,
fine job keeping that era alive, and he does
yeah,
good.
yeah,
So I love it, and I've never told him that, but I really enjoy that stuff.
yeah. It seems like a really expensive business, though, going on the roads with
Oh
a band of that size, paying
yeah,
out for like 12 hotel rooms and 12 meals. And
You know, I love music. Again, Al Perez, everything goes under Al Perez music if you search me out. But I've been playing music for decades since I was in
yeah,
high school.
yeah,
I know
yeah,
I was the garage band. I was the band at every weekend party in high school, college,
yeah, yeah,
going on to record professionally. And you're right. It's its own at this age and at this point in my career, it's a struggle is
yeah.
probably it's come back around in the sense that music has changed, in the sense of
Yeah,
your
it's not
audience.
art. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I love, you know what I love, and this is not because I'm talking to somebody in the UK. It's because I think that people over there still really enjoy original live music.
yeah.
You
We're
got some
obsessed with it. Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys got awesome venues. I was there a
yeah,
couple of years ago and I was like, I love it here. Everybody's
yeah,
awesome. And everybody's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, but
yeah.
what about the weather?" I'm like, I live in the Pacific
Don't
Northwest.
care.
I grew up in
That's
LA.
changed for you, I suppose, isn't it? Having a
No,
bad weather.
well, no, I live where it rains. So I grew up in LA, but I
Yeah,
live
yeah,
800 miles north of LA now. So I
yeah,
live in the Pacific Northwest. No, our
yeah.
weather is a lot like London. It's
Oh,
kind of
sorry to hear
dreary
about
for
that.
we get six
Yeah,
months, and I don't mind. I don't mind it at all. I could live
yeah,
anywhere in the world. I
yeah,
chose to live here because of what I did for a living. But the people are just amazing. Where there's a little bit of ring, you get your daily cleansing, is what I tell people. So,
yeah,
we,
yeah. Think of it that way. Yeah, yeah. You were
you
here
know,
with UK Blues Festival, weren't you?
oh,
And
yeah, I
playing with
was
Nine
there.
Below Zero.
Yes, and they were
Yeah,
great guys. I did a few opening shows for them, and in fact, I still talk to them online. Dennis and I talk back and forth.
yeah,
I made friends with those guys, and they're veterans as well, and
yeah, yeah.
they had their boom back in the day, and they're still out there
Back in the
getting
early
after.
80s, I think it was.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know a great deal about them. But aren't they a
I
ska
was.
band?
Yeah, they were kind of a
Yeah,
bluesy. They're called a ska band, but I
yeah,
grew up in California, so what I call ska music. Well,
yeah,
you guys had the punk rock scene and ska music as well back in the
yeah,
'80s, and
yeah,
that
yeah,
was a different scene. I thought they were a little bluesier, but that's just my
yeah,
take on their music. Who am I?
yeah,
I also growing up in California, we had the whole what we called so LA's LA.
Yeah.
Inland Empire is 60 miles east of LA, and that's what they call the Inland
Mm.
Empire, and that's where No Doubt's from and
Yeah.
Sublime,
Yeah.
a lot of those guys. So I grew up in Long Beach, but my cousins lived out in the Inland Empire, which is
Mm.
San Bernardino and
Yeah.
Riverside, and that's where Gwen Stefani's from, and No
Yeah.
Doubt. And
Nice.
then
Yeah.
down in and so we would be out in that era, and you'd see those bands. But then went to college in Seattle, so I switched gears.
Yeah.
Here's ska, punk, rock, beach
Oh,
music.
that's where
All of a
grunge
sudden,
came from as well with Nirvana, wasn't it?
right.
Out
So
of
I went to
Seattle.
Seattle. I
Yeah.
saw Nirvana at
Yeah.
Gasworks Park, like when they were nobody. We saw
Yeah.
Temple
Yeah.
of the Dog, and then Nirvana. All Alice in Chains, all these bands that were coming out of
Wow.
Seattle. And
Yeah.
then Heart to this day they don't have their studio like it used to be, but back in that era they had Bad Animals studio there, and we'd go
Yeah.
down there, and
Yeah.
everybody was freaking. It's the Northwest up here, meaning I'm talking about Oregon and Washington State because they're right
Yeah.
close to each.
Yeah.
So, it's just a very casual, that's why like that era of music was so casual. Everybody's, in these, flannel shirts and jeans, and who gives a shit, and a pair of
Yeah.
Doc
Yeah.
Martens just
Yeah.
kind
It's
of
not
kicking
about the
back.
clothing, is it? It's
It,
about
it
the
wasn't
music.
glammy and shiny. It
Mm.
was the opposite of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so I came from the glammy, shiny LA scene. And then here I am up north in this earthy type of scene. And so the
Yeah.
music exposure was like one extreme to the
Yeah.
other. And
Yeah.
you know, I feel I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. I can listen to
Yeah.
Motown, I can listen to
Best
big
way
band.
to be. Yeah.
My first concert was Black Sabbath. And everybody gets on this Black Sabbath train. I said I was 11 years old the first time I saw Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
11. They're like, no
Fan from
shit.
the get-go. Yeah.
Oh man, we saw
Yeah.
Ozzy and Dio, and I love that kind of dark rock stuff back in that era. It's funny that I
Yeah.
don't play that kind of music, but I appreciate it. And I've
Yeah.
met all those guys. I've met, like all the rockers from the 80s, 90s. I met I'm not trying to name drop. I mean, they're not my friends, but I've hung out with them at the big trade shows. We get NAM, if you know what NAM is. It's a big music thing in LA.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas. You know who Lita Ford is, the rocker gal that sings "Close Your Eyes Forever." Anyway, she had a big hit with Ozzy back in the day. I awarded her Lifetime Achievement Award at the Hard Rock Cafe in Vegas. So like I said, I've been around all this stuff.
Yeah.
I hung out with Sade, started her world tour for 5 days. I wasn't opening for her. A friend of mine
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
was teching for her on her opening of her last world tour. So I got invited to come hang out, and I think she's gorgeous. I always have to bring her up in every
Yeah.
interview because she's my favorite,
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
gorgeous. And one of these days, she's going to hear me and remember
She's unique,
meeting
isn't
me.
she? Hey, there's no one quite like Sade, and that Diamond
Oh,
Life album's a must-have, isn't it?
I
Especially for
love her.
vinyl collectors.
Yeah, you know what? Those albums were golden. Her voice is magic.
Yeah.
They were simple songs that were just a freaking pocket, man, just grooving. And that
Yeah.
bass player, man, and
Yeah.
I
Jazz
played with
club
the bass.
vibes, isn't it?
Yeah, that's cool
Mm.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Good music, grooving music. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Being honest at this age of me continuing into a third decade of for 30 years, I've been asked out it. And, I've done lots of albums. I've written professionally. I've toured, I've blah, blah, blah. But, people say, what does it take? Well, are you famous? I said, well, here's the deal, man. Rock and roll, or rock stars, I like to call it, is just a frame of mind. It's
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
in part of the music, being creative. It's being an artist, being true to your style and not trying to fit into some certain it's just what
Oh, the
art.
worst thing you can do is try and fit in, isn't it? You've got
Oh
to
my
remain
gosh.
individual.
I hear it all the time, and these young bloods, these young kids coming up, young bloods. Now this kid's called young blood, so I try not to say it now, but we always called younger
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
young blood. The young blood's coming up, but now this kid's going by young blood, so I hate to use the term, but in
Yeah.
California, they always called the younger guy. God, the young bloods are coming up, and we always said that shit. And I see the change in music. I was listening to some of the Korean pop, the K-pop stuff.
Oh, that's humongous now, isn't it?
Oh my goodness,
K-pop Demon Hunters.
I had to go watch the stupid cartoon because my daughters are telling me all into it, and I'm like, okay. I better sit down and watch this so I can. So I
Yeah,
was mess. I
yeah.
was
My
seeing.
son had it on a few days ago.
I had to sit
Yeah,
down and watch it. In fact, last night I was sitting down on piano and I went to mess with my daughters this weekend. So I learned Golden on piano just to give them a shit.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I was a
I
ghost
bet you
in
were
her
impressed by that,
favorite
weren't you?
day, huh?
Bet you
Or
were really
whatever the hell.
impressed.
Oh, I haven't done it yet. I'm gonna do it this weekend. I'm gonna mess with them and just
Yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
downstairs because I have a home studio downstairs, like a home
yeah,
performance studio, and they're coming over this weekend. So because they're not going to be here for Thanksgiving because they're going to Hawaii. So I said, well, come over this weekend. We'll do it early and whatever. It's fine. But I'm gonna mess with
yeah,
them and break out that stupid Golden song because
yeah.
I was playing on keyboards last night. Not that I never play it live, but I think it's just kind of funny to be. You got to kind of be plugged in to music. I'm not going to go
Yeah,
try to make
you've got to know
K-pop.
what's happening at the moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get
I
left
mean,
behind otherwise, wouldn't you?
well, you at least got to hear it so you can have a reference of where the younger kids are coming from. You know, I remember when Bruno Mars was hitting, and
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
really a few years back, and I said, well, that stuff's just a derivative of the old Cool and the Gang stuff. I mean, he's just
Oh yeah, he
taking all
borrows a
that.
lot from that era, doesn't he? The
I
funk
said
era. Yeah,
that's like Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's like Cool and the
yeah,
Gang. My daughter said, "Why don't you
yeah,
do it then?" I said, "Shit." I
yeah,
sat down and wrote a song on purpose. I said, "I grew up on that music." I said, "I can write
yeah,
that shit all day long." I said, "It's not what I usually do, but I sat down and wrote one, and it became a big song for me on the last album a couple of years ago called "Let the Player Play." But it was just
yeah.
in that
I love that
genre,
song. Yeah, I think that's
you
brilliant.
know
Yeah,
and it
that's
was
right.
just fun. It was just and it was because I said,
Yeah,
"Hey, I can write in any genre. I
yeah,
don't have a genre. I'm an artist."
yeah,
I'm pretty sure Picasso didn't paint the same shit over and over.
yeah, yeah,
And as an artist, everybody wants to kind of reinvent,
yeah,
recreate themselves album to album. Not that we can ever change ourselves so much that we're completely different, but
yeah,
we want to stay fresh and relevant. And
yeah,
and it's not so going backwards for me and like writing Let the Player Play. That was fun
yeah,
for me. It's true. It wasn't really writing about Bruno Mars type of stuff. It's about me
yeah.
going way back to
Yeah,
the
what was
stuff
the
like,
inspiration behind that then? It's
you
about
know,
dating and searching for love, isn't it?
well,
Let the player play.
it was two things. So there's a great story behind that song, Let the Player Play off my Love Revolution album, by the way, if people are
Yeah,
listening.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, that album, that song, I had run into my ex-wife. I was only married once in my life. I married my high school sweetheart, mother of my two kids. And I've been divorced for many years, but I still see her and she loves my music. And of course, I played
yeah.
music in high school and she
Well, that's
knows
good.
me.
Yeah,
And and we were talking and everybody says, "Oh, she had just jokingly said to me, 'Well, you're such a player, aren't you still?'" I
yeah,
said, I'm really not, but that's how people
yeah,
see it because I'm single all these years. I said, the truth is, I'm just looking for the right person. So when you write a
yeah,
song like
yeah,
Player Play, I've looked for the right person. I just haven't found her yet. The right person was
yeah,
her. That didn't happen to me. I love her my whole life. She's the mother of my
yeah,
children. I have love for
yeah.
her
Still got
always.
a good
And that
relationship with him. Yeah,
she's married now, but
yeah,
the love we had lives on in our children. And so
yeah,
I'm looking for the right person. And when I thought about this, well, I still haven't found her. When I've looked everywhere, I've looked everywhere for her.
yeah,
And I said, well, where
yeah,
did I look? I searched the earth, I searched the sky, I searched the sea,
yeah,
and then I
yeah,
even went farther, outer space if I need to. And that's what the song
yeah,
says. So I'm looking everywhere to find the writer.
yeah,
But
yeah.
until then, let the player play. And that was the
It's
kind of whole
funky as
premise of
hell,
this.
isn't it?
Yeah. And
Funky
so
as
it's just
hell,
kind
that
of,
song.
it was
Yeah,
quirky. And then
yeah,
she says to me, and she goes, how's the song? I said, oh, here it is. And she kind of she goes, can you still write? And she was being a smartass. And she says, can you still
yeah,
write me into a song? There's a song off my first album that I wrote, and there's a song called Rosy Lips, which is about her. And I used to call her Rosy
yeah,
Lips. That was my joke
yeah,
because her lips are kind of rosy, like rose color. Anyway, so
yeah,
I called her Rosy Lips. And I wrote a song called that on my very first album. She goes, can you write me into your song? I said, too easy. So I sit down and the bridge in Player Play references her and that song. I've known love before. I said, let's see, I'm trying to remember. I got the whole song in my head and piano or something. Oh, and known love before,
yeah,
standing right there at my front door. I kissed her rosy lips. I prayed that she would stay, but she had to go away. And that was her. I wrote her into the
yeah.
bridge. And so it's her. And I played her the song after I recorded off the album. She goes like, God, you're an asshole. You still get it in there, huh? I said,
Yeah.
too easy. I'm a
I
writer.
think
I
it's
think,
the standout song on that album. I
oh, it's
think. Yeah,
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
fantastic song.
You
So
know,
Shirley Sweet. Can
oh
you
my
tell me what
goodness,
that
you're gonna go
song's
through.
about?
Yes, I have great stories about all my songs.
Yeah,
I was dating a gal from a little town up on the coast. And I went up to see her. And so when I go see her, she had this little apartment. She lived like in this little apartment complex, you know?
Yeah.
And it was great. And so we were smoking something out in front of her place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sober now, by the way. I've been sober for quite a few years, but during that
Yeah.
era, I was out front of her place and she's smoking, and
Smoking something. Yeah.
smoking something, and
Yeah.
of course I'm smoking with her, and I'm a little stoned, and I
Yeah.
look up
Yeah.
behind her, and behind her front door in these apartments, the sign says Shirley's Sweets, like a sweet. It's like
Yeah.
Shirley. That's where she lived. She lived in
Yeah.
Shirley's Sweets, and
Oh,
I'm stoned, of course, and I say,
yeah.
"Oh, Shirley, you're Shirley Sweet," and I'm messing with her, calling her Shirley Sweet instead of
Yeah.
calling it. The apartment's called Shirley Sweets. I'm calling her Shirley Sweet. Oh,
Sweet. Yeah.
Shirley, you're Shirley Sweet. I'm messing
Yeah.
with her because I'm a little
Yeah.
stoned,
Got,
and
got the
then move
colours
on
in your
years
own. Yeah.
later. And so that's where I named her Shirley Sweet. So she became the character. So now so my cousin comes down from LA, and there's a story behind this. So I'll finish the story real quick. But Shirley Sweet, we're sitting there in the backyard, drinking a little Crown Royal, just shooting the shit. And he goes, "What are
Yeah.
you working on, man? Let's write a song." I said, "Oh." He goes, "What do you got?" I said, "What do you got started?" Because he's a writer too. I said, "I
Yeah.
always have shit started. I got all kinds
Yeah.
of shit." He goes, "What do you got right now?" I go, "I got Shirley Sweet." He goes, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Because I really love the title already.
I'm
He
really
goes,
excited about Shirley Sweet. Yeah.
and he goes, "Let's write that." And so we sit down, and him and I write the story, and we write the song. He's got to hop a plane the next morning. We didn't write any music, just lyrics. We just jotted
Yeah.
down lyric ideas. He jumps on a plane. I'm hungover. I get drop him off at the airport. I come back, sit down on my piano, and the rest is kind of history. I wrote Shirley Sweet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and it's about this person I knew, and in fact, that she was in love with me, I was in love with her, so I took more than I gave, and the song is self-explanatory from there if you listen to
Yeah.
the content of the
Yeah.
song. It just tells that story of a time between two people, and I nicknamed her Shirley Sweet, and
Yeah.
there you Shirley
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's got gorgeous strings and piano on that one, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we had to do it. We were gonna muck it up with the. You go to the studio and producers always have this. And I love my brother Kevin Nellingham, great producer,
Yeah.
and of course Jim Irvin from Warrior Records. Everybody's get these
Yeah.
ideas. They're gonna do this big production shit, and I'm like, no, whoa. I said, whoa. I said, I've never done a song that just broke down. I've always done stuff and productions. Can I
Yeah.
just have a piano and maybe a cello?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Cello is a, yeah. I wonder what instrument that was. Yeah.
It's a cello. And so I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
I have, as an artist, we always have a friend we're going to do something with. So this cello player I knew, Skip Van Du, and he lives in New York now. And I call him up. I said, "Hey, Skip." He goes, "Al Perez, what's going on?" I said, "Remember how for the last 20 years we're going to do something together? I need you to bring and come
Now's
play
the
the
time.
cello
Yeah.
part. Now's
Yeah. I
the
need you to
day."
bring
And
your
and and the
skills.
rest was history. So we did Shirley Sweet,
Yeah.
simple piano, cello parts, some string parts. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
You have to sing your ass off a bit when it's just you
Oh,
and
yeah.
an
Yeah.
instrument, and then this
Your
cello
voice is
section.
more exposed, isn't it, when you've got minimal instruments?
It was different, and so I probably worked a little harder on that vocal track because I'm like, gosh, my ass is hanging out there a
Yeah.
mile. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
work on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it
But
sounds like A Whiter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum. Yeah.
what a
Yeah.
great comparison. I love that
Yeah.
song. I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking that, but you know what? Now that you say it, I've never had anybody compare it that way, but I could hear that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
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 that's a
that's
great
what
comparison.
came to mind. Yeah, I think it sounds like that, to be honest.
Fun song, those stuff are fun to write. Shirley Sweet was fun to write. The new album, that's gonna be out in December. We've been releasing singles off it. So we
Yeah,
have La Di Da that came out as a single,
yeah,
which was more of a fun song. I actually called in some favors of my
yeah,
Hawaiian friends, and I actually had them play. A friend of mine that plays who plays ukulele, and then another
yeah,
Hawaiian guy that played piano and a bass player. It's just that they play a different way. We could play trying to play that way, or I could just call my Hawaiian friends to come play that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
And
I
and
was
that's
just
what I did.
listening to that earlier on, La Di Da. You went
Yeah.
on vacation, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I
Yeah,
was on vacation, and I've traveled all over the world, and I've played all over, and every time I'm in some trouble, and especially when I used to drink again, and I drink away. If you guys can get away with it, have a good time. I drank for a lot of years. It was just time for me to clean up my act. But
yeah,
I was sitting there drinking with a bunch of guys around a fire on the beach. I think we were in Kona, Hawaii. And everybody
yeah,
says the same thing on a vacation when you're with your buddies and your friends, and everybody's hanging out, and they say, "Why do we ever have to go home? Let's just sell all our stuff. open a little beach bar and we can just all live in one house and just live the dream, man. I'm like, oh, that's a song. That needs to happen.
It'd
And
be lovely if
so
it was that easy, wouldn't it?
it really was. And I had been over to, I was not Aruba, I was in St. Thomas, and I was at Margaritaville. I've been to a few of the Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. He has these resorts. So now
Yeah,
all of a sudden I get this idea that we don't. I need to have a resort. So the song has to be a resort, like Jimmy Buffett had Margaritaville. Well, my resorts are going to be called La Di Da Resorts. It's my joke now when I'm on stage.
yeah,
I say,
yeah,
"Hey, I want you guys to remember Margaritaville. That's old school. Now I have La Di Da Resort. We don't got a parrot. We got Choo Choo the
yeah,
monkey. He's going to be our character. He's a little Mexican monkey, sits on my shoulder. I joke about it all the time on stage. People laugh.
yeah,
I said, so if you guys want to buy in, you can be out on the first resort, and I call it La Di Da Resorts. And then I go into the song and say, you sell all our shit, and we'll
yeah.
live on an
Nice
island.
backstory for that, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's
Uh,
what it
uh,
was about. It was also
yeah,
that I thought maybe it could be a very commercial song for like intros to like vacation, like cruise ships or whatever. And I
yeah,
thought,
yeah,
oh, so I kind of wrote it from that I'm
yeah.
again, I'm a writer, so I
Wrote it
wrote it
with
from
that in mind, perhaps. Yeah,
yeah. When I perform it, I probably report I perform it a little bit straighter, not quite as I don't know what the Hawaiian style. Kind
yeah,
of they call it Hawaiian. They don't call it Jamaican or
yeah,
Hawaiian.
yeah.
It's a hybrid. They call it Hawaiian. So I don't play it
Mm.
quite that Hawaiian because I don't play that style of guitar. So I straighten it out a little bit when I perform it live. But the idea is there, the fun behind it, and the stupid thing. Let's sell our stuff.
Yeah,
Let's go live in
yeah, yeah,
paradise and live the dream. Everybody's nice there. Let's go. I want to go
yeah,
be where everybody's
yeah.
nice. You know.
Yeah. It's quite different to your other songs, isn't it? In sounds, it's not as
That's
bluesy.
yeah, it's not as bluesy, it's not as rock, it's not as R&B. It was very, very different. My brother hated it. I love my brother, and my brother and I played
Yeah,
music. He goes,
yeah,
"The hell is that song?" He goes, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "We want to record the same album or the same song every
yeah,
time."
yeah, yeah.
And
I
I thought it
know.
was funny. Who gave me the most shit was my own brother. He said, "I like it."
Yeah, yeah. And then you wrote a song about him. Right?
What's
That's
that?
mad. Then you wrote a song about him as well.
I did. So my brand new album is called Then and Now, the collection, which is the whole album's coming out next month. So my brother and I, we grew up with a
Yeah,
single mom in LA, a lot of trouble, this and that. We did all the stuff you can
yeah,
everything bad you
yeah,
can think of, sign me up. We
yeah.
were really,
It's all part of growing up, isn't it?
we thought we would live sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We really believed that was going to be our calling and our anthem, and we lived that way.
Yeah,
And but my brother was always with me, but we were with a single mom and growing up in LA, there's a lot of monsters out there and a lot of bad
yeah,
things there that we don't talk about. But when you write music, I wanted to do that. He was the one that was my constant. He was we were back to back fighting the world. We rode tricycles together. We still ride
yeah,
Harleys together. We ride motorcycles together. And,
yeah,
and I jokingly sang the song fingers up together right because like flip off the whole world and tell everybody go. And as long as I'm him and I, in fact, he was here last night. We were playing music last night. I was playing piano and he was playing guitar, and we still get together at that level and still just play music. And I
yeah.
said, of all the shows and all the things it was my birthday yesterday. I said, brother,
Oh,
I'd
happy
rather
belated
sit.
birthday, yeah,
I said, I'd rather just I'm as happy sitting here playing music with you as I'm playing for a whole audience. It's just
yeah.
we
Oh,
grew up
is that
doing it
nice?
because you love it. If you really
Yeah,
love music, I mean, love music,
yeah,
I can come home from a show. It could be 2 in the morning, and I'll sit down and play guitar or piano for another 2 hours because I just
yeah,
love, even after
yeah,
all these years, I still feel that
yeah.
way.
Oh,
And so,
that's
yes,
great.
I wrote
Yeah,
that song. Brother is a great song. It went over well. In fact, I played a show this weekend, and I've just started to perform it live, and that's a big song. It goes
yeah,
over great at shows because it has a good build. It starts kind of here and gets up to here, and it
yeah,
gets very rock anthemy at towards the end, and it's a
yeah,
fun song, and it's personal to me. So probably I
yeah,
probably give it a little more umph at the end of it.
yeah.
So it's fun to perform. That's a great song off that album.
Yeah.
And then last month we
Got
released
a
a song.
lovely lyric as well. It's lovely lyric. Brother of mine, all that I've seen. Oh, you've seen it there with me.
Yeah,
It's a
to really
gorgeous
stand
lyric.
by, and I love him with all my heart. He's my best friend. He's my older brother, and we're 1 year apart. And to have somebody that you travel through this world with, again,
Yeah,
and that after all these years, he's still over here last night. We're playing music together, just like we did when we were 12 years old. We still get together and we still play it down. What do you want to
yeah,
play? I
yeah,
don't know. What do you play? Want to play one of yours? Want to play something else? and we still do it, and we do
Yeah.
it in 2 hours. 2 hours go by, and we go, shit, I gotta get home, man. I
I thought
said,
that was five
no, what
minutes.
time
Yeah,
is it?
yeah,
And we sat there and
Yeah.
played for 2 hours, and that's just a sheer somebody you enjoy doing music with, and then you still love doing music. I still
Yeah.
love doing
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
so it's nice to have that feeling, and I still feel it. And that's
Yeah.
why I keep writing. I have another album I've started. So this album will come out. We'll have one more single come off it. Steps was also off it. Step was a big deal. Step was
Yeah.
personal because it was about, and again, I'm not advocating you all want to drink a pint and have a cocktail and a shot. Please
Yeah.
do. I
Yeah.
drank since I was 11 years old, and it was just time for me to get off that train. I'm healthier. I'm a little older now, and so I wanted to feel better. I wanted to look better, and I wanted to keep playing music. And so
Yeah.
I'm 120 pounds lighter, literally. I
Oh,
feel better
wow.
than I
Yeah.
felt it in
Yeah.
decades. And it was just because it was time for me to kind of, if I'm going to keep doing this, I got to take better care of
Yeah.
myself. I got to feel better, and then get on stage, go do a 2 hour show. You got to do it. People
it
think
does take its toll on your body, doesn't it? Alcohol. It does.
it does. You're tired, and you don't recover as well as you get a couple of years on you. And
Yeah.
for me, I tell people, please know, I am no way saying I do what you do. The easiest way for me to explain this one thing, and I'll say it really fast. I'm not going to get on that bandwagon. I wanted my life a new change, a start over, to redo my life. I wanted one more round of music to be big,
Yeah,
my life to be, and I made a decide that I need to be healthier, look better, feel better, and change my life. And so I got my do-over.
Mm.
I probably should have called Steps the do-over, because I said, can I just start over? Can I get my
Yeah.
do-over? Because I want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
do it again. I want to do it. And to do
yeah.
that,
It's never too
I
late to
had
change, is it?
it's like getting into training. It's like I'm a
Yeah.
boxer and I got to hit the
Yeah.
gym. If I want to do it, I got to train for it.
Yeah.
If
And
you're going
part
to
of
do a
that,
2 hour show, yeah, you've got to be in shape, haven't you?
I just did one on Saturday. When I'm done with 2 hours, I'm tired. You get
Yeah.
back
Oh,
at the
yeah.
hotel and you're
You're
eating
bound to
some
be. Yeah.
food, and you're just like, okay, I'm tired. I'm going to try to eat this cold food that I brought back to
Yeah.
the hotel now,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But you love it so much. That's the
Yeah.
life, and that's the deal. But you gotta
Yeah.
be in shape. And it's
Yeah.
one thing at 20, it's a whole different when you're down the road from there. 20, you're not 20 no
Yeah.
more. At
Well,
20,
I'm finding it at 41 that alcohol, probably not useful, is it? It's
mm,
not productive to drink.
well, I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to really get out there again, one more tour. It's not my last tour, but I want to get out there and do what I did when I was younger. I want to feel better, look better, create better music. I want to have a better
Yeah.
experience for my audience. I want to have a better time doing it. And so I it gives you that purpose, and it rallies you. It's
Yeah.
it's like a boxer going to the gym. I'm gonna go train and then I'm gonna go fight. Well,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
me training, and now I got the new album, got another album right behind it coming out, and we're gonna go fight. We're gonna go do the shows. We're gonna come to the
Yeah.
UK. We're gonna come do shows
Oh,
over
excellent.
there.
Yeah.
And so, Ed is working on those with us now. So we're trying to get those lined up for February, March. Hopefully, we'll be over there.
Oh,
We're going to
brilliant.
come.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as soon as we know, everyone will know. I'm sure he'll send you out a press a release as well.
Oh,
But
yeah, yeah. Look
music is
forward to that, yeah.
exciting.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
just
yeah,
recharges your battery. Like I said, it's all the things. It isn't just about, oh, I quit drinking. No, people
Yeah.
are just, you know what? I need to feel, and I
yeah,
feel the energy again, and I feel
Yeah.
good and hyper, and the creativeness is, hitting on all
Yeah.
cylinders. And I just love music. I love being able to
Yeah.
get out and do it. And
yeah,
I'm fortunate that my voice, because I see some singers getting older that don't hold up that good. You hear their voices, you're
Yeah.
like, holy shit. Maybe you guys should,
Yeah.
it's time to stop.
yeah.
And I
I
feel
think you
fortunate.
sound quite a lot like Daryl Hall.
You think I do?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Well, that's a compliment. So you have to
yeah,
know that I played with the drummer that played with my band for about 3 years, was the tour drummer with Hall and Oates for 27 years. I played, in fact, he played on a couple of the tracks on the Love Revolution. He plays
yeah,
on This Far Down. Mike Braun is his name. Look him up. His name is Mike Braun.
yeah,
He played
yeah.
on that.
Wow, yeah,
He played a few tracks. He played
Yeah.
for over 20, I think 27 years with Hall and Oates, and he played
Yeah.
drums with me, and he played with me. A great guy. He had the only reason I got a chance to play with him was he had been with them for years, and then he had back problems, and he had come
Yeah.
from the Northwest, which means Oregon, Portland, Oregon area.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
just happened to come across him in the studio, and I go, why do I know you? And he's like, well, I told
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? What are you doing here, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your resume. Holy shit! And I was
Yeah.
lucky enough to record with them. We did some shows together, and he's since now retired because he has back problems. But Mike Braun, he played on the last album. He played with so I love Hall & Oates. Don't get me wrong; those
Oh
guys were.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't? I mean,
they're,
they wrote
they're my
great
top
songs.
three favorite artists, all and
Really
Oates.
good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that shit. I
Yeah.
love that music. Which everybody's dubbed it all now yacht rock. That's the new term they
Yeah, that's the
call.
term, isn't it? Now.
You know, but it's great stuff. I always say I was born in the wrong era. If I was in the '70s, I'd be really, the biggest. I would have been one of those guys because I love that stuff. I
Yeah, I
grew up.
love yacht rock. Yeah, what do you call it now? Yeah, Christopher
Yeah,
Cross and all that, and
and he still sounds
yeah,
good because he was just on tour. I didn't even know he was
yeah,
still alive. I'm like, is that guy
yeah,
still touring? Holy
yeah,
crap!
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
he's coming to the UK as well. Yeah, Christopher Cross.
Yeah, a friend of mine just saw him. And he goes, "Oh, this is
Yeah,
a concert with Christopher." I'm like, "Christopher Cross." Like, God, I mean,
yeah,
I'm in the business. I really didn't
yeah.
know he was still touring at that
Yeah,
level.
there's a Doobie Brothers album this year, wasn't there, as well? I
Yeah,
believe.
and Doobie Brothers, no, they're
Yeah,
great. Now you said, in fact, in Little River Band, my brother and I were. In fact, that's a song my brother says. He goes, "Hey man, can you play a Little River Band song, Night Owl?" I said, I don't call the chords. I don't. I mean, I don't know it, but I'm sure I
yeah,
can play it. I can play
yeah,
anything. And he called out Night Owl. I said, "Dude, I haven't thought of that song in 30 years." I
yeah,
said, "Little River Band, Night Owl." I said, "Da da 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 da."
yeah,
I said, "There's a bunch just around the street." And I go, because I said, "Oh my gosh, I can remember the words." I said, "I can't even believe I'm figuring it out here." And we sat and it took us about 30 minutes to kind of actually, I
yeah,
don't even know why. We're never going to play it. But somehow he wanted to play Night Owl by Little River Band last night. And I sat and played it on piano with my brother and I was laughing. We were both cracking up. He goes, "Why are we remembering this song so well?" I'm like, "Why am I knowing all the words to it?" Holy
oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm not familiar with that one. I'll have to investigate that one out.
great song, Little River
Yeah,
Band, Night Owl.
yeah,
One of my
yeah,
favorite
yeah,
songs off that. I don't remember what album it was off, and it
yeah,
just happened to be my brother called it out. And I was like,
yeah,
"Holy shit! I've never played this song in my life, but I think I can figure
yeah.
it out."
But the only Night Owl I know is by Jerry Rafferty. Oh, was it?
Yeah,
That was Night Fly, isn't it? Night Fly by
Night
Jerry
Flight.
Rafferty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rhapsody is good. Baker Street, what a great song. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
all that.
yeah.
We used to play that back in the day. I used to have a sax player in my band, and he'd always play that stupid. What is the riff to Baker Street?
Oh, the
The
saxophone, yeah, yeah,
sax
yeah.
part
Oh,
in
the
it,
famous
and
sax
so
riff. Yeah,
and so he knew the riff, and so sometimes when we
yeah,
were doing sound check, he'd play that stupid riff. And I'm like, if you keep playing the riff, we're gonna have to play the stupid song, man. I said,
yeah.
are you
Sticks in
playing
your head,
Baker
doesn't it? That
Street?
riff, yeah.
I'm like, "Are
And
you
he made a
playing
lot of
Baker
money,
Street?" He
that
goes,
sax
"Do you
riff.
know it?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
"Well, I don't know it, but I can play it. I'm figured out.
yeah,
Somebody give me a
yeah,
note, give me a key. I don't give a shit.
yeah, yeah,
If you're an artist, you just
yeah,
like. Of course, we
yeah,
all know that song. I mean, who doesn't know
yeah,
Baker Street?
yeah. I know,
I
yeah.
mean,
So you
those
say
guys could rap.
like Bill Withers and Prince and Boz Scaggs are
Oh, I
some of your
love Bill Withers
influences,
and
aren't
Prince.
they? Yeah,
I love that stuff. I used to do on one of my albums. There's a version of I think there's a Ain't No Sunshine. I used to do it as a sound check because everybody, it's just easy and everybody plays and so
yeah,
people would always ask me to play it. I'm like, well, it's the weather song. Everybody does song, and it's nothing special.
yeah,
Everybody knows it. I don't know
yeah,
what is it, A, E minor, G, whatever the hell it is. Anyway,
yeah.
but it's one of those things. Again, a sound check song that becomes something you throw on because it
Found its
becomes
way into the set, yeah,
the band people start asking because they hear you kind of hit it, or you're like, "Hey,
yeah,
play that cover."
yeah,
I'm like, "I got 57,000 of my own songs, but okay, I don't
yeah.
mind. I mean, sure,
They want
you
Bill
know,
Withers. They'll get Bill Withers
oh,
then.
use me up, we dun, 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 bum, bum, bum,
Yeah,
whatever. We'd always play some of those old stuff, and just for
yeah,
sound checks, and but I could call it any of that stuff. I love Bill Weathers, and then you said Prince, forget it,
yeah. Who
Prince,
doesn't love
Prince is.
Prince? Yeah,
I do the coolest version of Purple Rain. I can do a Morning Paper. Morning Paper. I can't remember what Graffiti Bridge. I think it was off of was a song by
yeah,
Prince that I always
yeah,
liked. Kind of a mellow song, but that
yeah,
guy was a
yeah.
genius. He
Yeah.
did.
He didn't
Like
stop, did he?
he was a pretty little man that wrote incredible music. What are you gonna
Yeah.
say? There's nothing to
An
say.
underrated guitarist as well.
Oh, Jesus,
People are
criminally.
only appreciating his guitar playing now.
Yeah, when he did that solo on "As My Guitar Gently Weeps" with Tom Petty and
Yeah,
those
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
he just
That's
smoked their
story, isn't it?
asses. That video is like, holy shit!
Yeah,
And we all
yeah.
just peed ourselves and went, "Wow, what is that?" Even it
That
was
caught
just,
fire on the internet, didn't it?
oh, it was wild to watch. You go, you know, having done, I don't even know, thousands of shows in my life. Every once in a while, you get a moment, in a
Yeah,
live a session. You're doing a
just
performance.
get the feels. Yeah.
It just something magic happens,
Mm.
and I've been there, and he had it. You could tell when he went there. And every musician that's worth their salt has had that great moment where
Yeah.
I no
I
matter
can't top
what I
this.
do, no matter what I
Yeah,
do, it's just gonna be
yeah,
magic.
yeah,
Then you have the
yeah,
shows you fight through. Then we have the
yeah,
other shows where you're coming off having a cold, maybe you're a little run down, maybe you just don't
yeah,
feel like it today. It's like
yeah.
going to work
You've got to
sometimes. You're
go
like,
on stage, haven't you? But if you're full of flu or something, you still got to
oh,
perform, haven't you?
and it's tough. My brother and I were talking about that again. Him and I talk about music, and people don't know that, how many times you're hitting the stage
Yeah,
sick or recovering from being
yeah, I
sick
know. Yeah,
or trying to do something or goggle with Listerine or whatever your routine is,
yeah,
just trying to
yeah,
get your shit together
yeah,
so you don't sound, and you're not at 100%. Your voice to you sounds about
yeah,
70%. And everybody goes, "Oh, it's the best show ever." And you're like, I
yeah.
thought it
Not for me,
sucked
it
all
wasn't.
night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I thought I was terrible all night, but
yeah,
but you manage.
yeah,
That's the professionalism. That's the job.
yeah,
Beyond writing it is performing it.
yeah.
And being tired. And but you know what?
That's what goes unseen at times, isn't it?
Yeah, my brother and I we're gonna do a different. I have the what I call the Alprez band, and my brother used to play in it, but he doesn't play in it now because he doesn't want to tour and play as much. But we were talking last night because he wants to stay closer to home, and
Yeah,
he goes, "Let's do a little show." I said, "Well, but we got to call it something else, man." And I said, "I can't call it Alprez or Alprez band." I said, "Let's just be the Perez brothers, and you
yeah,
can pick from my catalog." But my brother's also a great singer. And I said, "But you got to sing
yeah,
half stuff. You sing half the stuff." I said, "You pick whatever you want to pick. You sing half the show. We'll do a different show." I said, "And I don't want to play a bunch of." She said, "Do not go book me out." I said, "I'll come do one a
yeah,
month
yeah,
with you, but I don't want to be booked. I have this going on over here.
yeah,
The
yeah,
albums and stuff." He goes, "All right." So that's what we were kind of messing around with last night. And
yeah. So you might do a one-off show. Yeah, do the
well,
one show and then take it from there.
yeah, nah, we'll do it. We did one last month, and he just said, "Let's do it a little more tighter." I'm like, "Okay, whatever. You be in charge of that because I got all this going on over here. I can show
Yeah,
up. That's easy when I'm not in charge. If I don't have to write it or this, I mean, I said, but you can pick from my catalog. I
yeah,
I just don't want to be in charge of that other project." But I
yeah,
love
yeah,
playing, but it's fun for him and I. Again, we played together growing up. We dreamed of playing music, then we played music, and then we went professional, and then now he's kind of got his own thing, and so it's fun to circle back and I said just keep it
yeah,
simple though. Let me play piano, let me play guitar, let's do a duet, let's keep it real down and let people call stuff
yeah,
out because we can figure out
yeah.
anything.
Take requests. Yeah.
I said I
You
don't
do
care, man.
Baker Street.
I can do Baker's. I used to
Yeah,
play it. Let's see.
yeah,
I can play it, yeah, and I can
yeah,
play it on
yeah,
guitar too as well. So, but I told him, I said, "Oh, but I don't get to play. I don't play piano in my band at all because I have a piano player and usually a
yeah,
keyboard player. So I write and play piano, but I don't get to play it. So this project, I said, I really want to bring a piano and play more piano. He goes, "You're gonna be
yeah,
piano player?"
yeah,
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna bring." I goes,
yeah,
"You got to bring a guitar. You cannot not bring a guitar." I said, "All right." I said, "But I really want to
yeah,
play piano. That'd be fun." Anyway,
yeah,
it's I'm excited about music. Music is supposed to be it's who you are. It's part of life.
yeah.
It makes you breathe.
Therapy, isn't it, Al, as
Oh, I
well?
love it. I
Yeah,
love it so
yeah.
much.
So what made you cover Have I Told You Lately by the great Van Morrison?
Well, again, having been a product, when I used to watch MTV used to have music, they would do those unplugged shows. And I thought when Rod Stewart did the version of it on the
Yeah,
unplugged show, I thought, oh, that's so cool the way he's doing it. And I always knew what the song wasn't really about because it's a prayer, and
yeah,
um,
yeah,
and I'm a man of faith, and
yeah,
I just always appreciate it from that perspective. In fact, when people would ask me to do it, I would do it. Again, being a man of faith, I would say to the one, and I would always give it
yeah,
up
yeah,
and to him upstairs.
yeah,
and so um, I'll just tell you the truth. Okay, no bullshit. Producers, record labels love you to do a cover because it draws
yeah,
traffic. It's a great big song.
yeah.
Sure, it's been covered by everybody,
It
probably
serves
better.
people well, the odd cover
And,
version,
and,
doesn't
and
it?
so people familiar with it, and it drives traffic.
Yeah,
And people don't talk about this, but I'll talk about it. I don't care. On the internet and with Spotify and all these different music ways of music, it's if you put a song that is a cover that's a hit, when people search it, it brings them to your stuff. So if you put a
yeah. The
song,
algorithm, yeah.
the
I can see
algorithm,
how that would work. Yeah,
and
yeah.
so they said, do a cover. I'm like, oh, man, I got songs I'd rather record, my own
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I said, oh, I got one. You know what? This one is always the ladies always like this one. I'll give them
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It's a nice version of things. Yeah, yeah,
And it's funny because, and in my piano player, if you listen to the actual arrangement, John Pierre, my music director, he says, "Oh, I have to do an arrangement," because he's a classic guy. And if you listen to it, it's way more intense, the
yeah,
arrangement, than the Van Morrison one. He took it
yeah,
a little extra. I said, "Okay, but don't go crazy on me. Let's keep it like we're in a jazz
yeah,
club, kind of more of that vibe. Cool bass player, a
yeah,
jazz guitar piece. If you're going to arrange it that way, we're not going big production. Let's go jazzy feel, but a lighter production. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
like we're in a
yeah,
smoky jazz club kind of feel.
yeah,
Because I like the truth to be known, I like the poppy Rod Stewart version.
yeah, yeah.
And they go,
That's very
"Don't you
well
dare!"
known. Rod Stewart's version
Yeah,
as well, isn't it?
yeah. And they said, "Don't you dare go Rod Stewart on us." I'm like, fine. That version, I kind of want to sing it that way. And they said, "Don't do it.
Yeah,
We're going to do it more a jazz, kind of slide it a little bit, and these chord changes." And I'm like, okay. So even though I'm the artist, I still answer to record label producers and band directors because people don't realize to do music at that level, at the level I do. We all do, professional musicians do it at. There are a lot of people involved. I
oh
write
yeah,
songs,
definitely, yeah,
or you have producers, you have studios, you have engineers, you have record label, you have
yeah,
executive producers, which is the money guys, and then
yeah,
you have a lot of people, and then you go, and then you write these songs that are your piece of work, and then you add all these talented players, drummers and fantastic guitar players, and they have ideas that start touching your art, and
yeah,
you got to pick a team that you like
yeah,
working with,
yeah. It
because
seems to
there's a
grow,
lot.
doesn't it? I suppose.
It does,
Yeah,
it just grows and becomes what it is. And
yeah,
so you really gotta, I like after all these years of doing, when I was young, I didn't know that I could pick my team and
yeah,
drive traffic the way I want to. Now I trust these gentlemen with my art,
yeah,
my music,
yeah, yeah,
and I can give it to them without worrying that it's going to become something unrecognizable. And
yeah,
that's the hope that, I'm not some kid, some pretty faced kid that's, 17 years old, that they're developing. I'm an artist
yeah,
that writes music, and then I have a team of people I work with, and I'm really happy with what we do. And then again, we don't have a genre. It's a very hybrid music. If it's R&B, it's R&B. If it's rock, it's rock.
yeah,
If it's some Hawaiian style, or
yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah,
all music. We were just saying we got to have a big band section on something. I said, sure, just tell the label to put up money for a bigger studio and a whole horn
yeah,
section. I'm
yeah,
in.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love it.
yeah. With the
I want to.
arrangements, yeah.
I
So
want
do
to
you have a
do
lot
it.
of people? Do you have a lot of people promoting your music? Then I'll.
Right now, yes, we're starting to pick up some different people. We have, I'm working with Ed over there in the UK.
Yeah,
He's kind of working as my musical liaison, if you will,
yeah,
in that market. And I really want to say all the names, but there's another person over there working with me as well. That's promoting, because it takes a team. And then
yeah,
I've got the people
yeah, yeah,
here. I've got a new marketing person here. You got to have people that do the I do the best I can, try to keep it natural on my
yeah,
social medias,
yeah,
but even that's a big deal now.
yeah,
I think,
yeah,
well, just hire somebody. I say, but if I hire somebody, sometimes me being dumb and honest is the good
yeah.
part, because people get the real
Yeah,
you.
no, yeah,
If I hire
I've seen a
someone to
few of your
polish the shit
natural
out of it,
videos. Yeah, they're good. Them, yeah,
yeah, if I polish the shit out of it, then they're not really
yeah,
understanding who I
yeah,
am and where I
yeah,
come from. I could hire somebody. So I said, I'll do it until I can't do it. It's getting
yeah,
to a point where I almost can't manage all the socials. And I
yeah,
keep
yeah,
labels and promoters and stuff say, "You gotta do a better job with your social media." I said, but if I give it up and I
time
have someone,
consuming, isn't it?
So people don't know that there's all these balls in the air all the time.
Yeah,
I wish it was just me sitting with my guitar, piano, writing songs, and people just and it would just you know. And I was Rod Stewart or one of these big artists. That's
yeah,
people were just, but it's not. I'm a lot of hands on. It's a lot of managing
yeah.
yourself,
A lot of self
and and
promotion.
and so I still go downstairs in my studio and just play my piano and go, no, this is why I do it, you know? Or when
Yeah,
you finally get to that stage, you go, this is why I do it, you
yeah,
know? And
yeah,
if
yeah.
one person walks up to you at the end of the show or 10 people and say, I played a new song at the last show that's not even on a record, and 5 people walked up to me like, Where's that song?" I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I just wanted to run it around the
That makes
block.
it all worthwhile, doesn't it? Like
You know,
getting
I
those
just
sort
wanted
of
to run.
compliments. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's nice to know that the new song that's nowhere that no one's ever heard, and if they come up and go like, what album's that song on?" I'm like, "Oh, I just running it around the block. I just wanted to play it because the band said,
yeah,
don't do
yeah,
it." I'm like, "I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna call it." They
yeah,
go, "Don't call it."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I'm the band leader. It's my band. I'm gonna call it. Shut up. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
As if I call it, you guys just play it. And you go, because we did it at rehearsal. It's called Transcending, and it was big. It went over really big, and it was fun to play. And so you never know. I never did the same show twice. Sometimes I'll sit down and do an acoustic show.
Oh, yeah,
Sometimes
the
I'll
element
do,
of surprise. Yeah, you
you know,
get a
uh,
different show each time.
if you get a chance when I come over there to come see me, um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
depending what we're doing. I think my brother and I are going to come over just socially, and I'm going to do some interview stuff like I'm doing with you, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
and I think we're going to bring our guitars and maybe just do a couple pop-up shows, you know, just some little acoustic things,
Nice.
and
Yeah, yeah, that'd be
I
decent.
yeah, that'll be fun. And then when we come back in February and March, I'm gonna bring the whole band up, and we'll have some bigger shows. But so
Excellent.
kind of catch.
Yeah,
I'll let you know for sure, or Ed will let you
yeah.
know when we come over.
Cheers. Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
Make sure
both
you
ways,
do. Yeah,
you can kind of see it in a very
yeah,
natural form, and then you can kind of see it in the whole production.
yeah, yeah.
So I
So you've
appreciate you
got your
having me
other
on.
job as well. You've got your roofing job and as
So
well.
what I don't do roofing. So I've been in the commercial roofing industry my whole life. So I've owned commercial roofing companies. I don't own one now. I own
No.
an independent marketing company. So that kind of offsets the whole, you know, my rock and roll fortune. I'm joking with you. And
Yeah,
you know, I've always done that since I was in college. I worked. How I got into it is I was in college and you know had to make money in the summer. And of course, I went out and did physical labor for a couple years and but I didn't like working that hard because I just wanted to play
no,
music. You know, I was
yeah,
sure I was just going to be a rock star. So, but it kind of stuck. So after a couple of years of doing it, they had offered me a job selling commercial. So big commercial
yeah,
stuff, like big warehouse stuff. I don't do residential, big stuff.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I got trained how to sell and I knew it really well. And many decades later, it just kind of supplements my income and gives me the
yeah,
opportunity to travel and you know keep the insurance and all the things we all need and
yeah.
so
So
it keeps.
you do the music full time though, yeah,
I do the music full time. I
yeah.
do both, you know,
Oh,
and I'm
excellent,
very that's why I have my own company so that my schedule is
yeah,
more flexible.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but you know, it's I've done both. So I sell stuff, and then of course, like when we finish up this, my rest of my day will be that, and then tonight I got a
yeah.
rehearsal. So I'm always going between everything.
Yeah,
But you
nice
have to
bit of
have your own
variety, isn't it?
business so
Yeah,
that you can keep it going. And then when I travel abroad, you know, I have an assistant that kind of takes over that stuff, and then I just kind of call
yeah,
it
yeah,
in. You know, so I got it down to an art.
yeah, yeah. You've got someone who can step in, yeah,
Yeah,
when you go on
absolutely. So,
vacation, yeah,
yeah. Well, mostly is when I'm touring or playing music. So I need someone
yeah,
to be managing that part of that
yeah.
business so
Someone
that
someone
it's,
who knows what's going on in your
you know, plus I
absence,
leave my
yeah,
house behind and, you know, I have a house
yeah,
and everything and all that stuff.
yeah,
So anyway, you know,
yeah,
I love music. I'm
yeah,
excited for you to hear the rest of this on this new album.
yeah,
So the whole album's going to be out next month. Go listen to it because there's some live versions. So, you know, in
yeah,
the old days, people would, as bonus tracks, would put live
yeah,
versions
yeah. I remember
in.
that, yeah, yeah.
And so on this new album that's going to be out, there'll be like 3 live versions of songs.
Have we got a
On
date for
it.
the new album, Al?
Yeah, I think it'll be December 15th. So this
Yeah,
whole album that it has these singles that have been coming off it. The whole
yeah,
album will be out and it's called The Collection Then and Now. It'll have these singles
yeah,
on it, and then at the end of it, there's 3 hidden tracks, just so you know, of
yeah,
live versions
yeah,
of some of my past music. So that's fun. I just thought it'd be fun to do. We happened to
yeah,
be in a studio and we recorded these songs. And we never did anything with them. We're like, well, you know what? Let's throw them on this album, man. They're cool. You know, we were
yeah.
just
They
we
were
did
that
them
good not to use, yeah,
and we did
Let's
them in
put them
one
out there.
take, and but we were kind of rehearsing, and we were in a studio, and they were running tape, and I said
Yeah,
they sound really good, and I
yeah,
said, oh, let's put them on as bonus tracks like they used to do in the old days, and like, really, you want to
yeah,
put them on
yeah,
there? Like, oh, we got to, and then of course, then it turns out, oh, we got to clean them up, we got to master them. I'm like, yeah, it's a freaking live recording, just toss them on there, and
yeah.
they're like, you can't just throw them
Yeah,
on there like
they don't
that.
require that much work, surely, do they? If they're live.
Now but they did want to master them and whatnot, so they ended up now.
Yeah,
We didn't do any punch-ins. They are live
yeah,
takes. They are
yeah.
one live take,
Yeah,
and
sometimes the one takes the best, isn't it?
you
That's all
know,
it
I
takes sometimes.
I keep telling people this, and I'm probably old school, and I go, the perfection is in the imperfection. That is
Yeah,
rock and
yeah,
roll.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
No auto tune, no, punching in and fixing little shit.
yeah, yeah,
If you listen to old albums, there are mistakes and shit on them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
There's some
Definitely.
grittiness and some back noise, and it
Yeah,
isn't these clean productions that you're doing today. And I think
yeah,
those albums are amazing because the perfection is in the
yeah,
imperfection.
yeah. Everything's too highly polished, isn't it? Now I think.
Yeah, and so I try not to do it. I honestly
Mm,
go in with the band, record everything. If there's a couple fixes that are just completely nightmares, we'll make it.
yeah,
I'll let them fix it. But I try real hard to go in and go, let's go in and do a few takes of it and get a good take and keep that. I like
mm,
that. I
mm,
like that feel of it. I've
yeah,
done other big production stuff where everything's punched and everybody plays at a different time and blah 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 and playing. I've done all that. And there's nothing against that if it's that kind of
yeah,
song. But if I can do something a little more organic, like the old rock and roll way where everybody goes and
yeah,
walks
yeah,
down and does a song, I love that shit. I love
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it.
yeah.
That's fun.
So which of your own songs, Al, are you most proud of up to now?
Brother, obviously, it's lately is a song that I'm really proud of. The songs for me that I like playing, I have a song off of my first album, which I'd love to re-record because we play it a lot different. It's a song I wrote called Circles, off my first album. You know, songs off other albums. "Come and Get It" was a song my brother and I wrote together, which just was just kind of a fun song. Always went over well live. I enjoy singing it. It's fun to play.
Yeah,
There's a song called Seven that's kind of a rock anthem kind of tune, and when we play it live, it's fun. It's just vocally fun. It's just
yeah, yeah,
huge full rock voice. I mean, I'm on it. I'm all
yeah,
over it, and it's fun. And then big raging guitar stuff. So I love that shit. And
yeah. It's quite
and
loud,
then
yeah. Yeah,
sitting down to like Shirley Sweet, or Mermaid is a good song that nobody talks
yeah, I
about
was
much. But
listening to that as well, yeah.
Mermaid was fun is a beautiful song. So when I hear
Yeah,
it, because I wrote it that way on a piano, I like
yeah,
the simpleness of it. So big high energy rock stuff, rib rock guitars, very production stuff,
yeah,
play, very simple things from my old part of my career, Circles, A Traveling Man
yeah. I
was
really like Game of Love as well. That's a good
oh,
one.
Game of Love. Game of Love
Yeah,
is
yeah,
a
I was
really
really
good song.
enjoying that one before, yeah. Yeah,
Game of Love was a good song because there's a good example of a song that hung around for a while before it got recorded. So I
yeah,
started writing it when I was very young, and I loved it. And I
yeah,
would always play it a little bit, and I was playing it around, and the band kind of always knew it. And they go, "Why don't we ever? What is there like a bridge or
yeah.
something?" I'm
Got
like,
someone finished business with that one.
yeah, and so it became fit, and that's what it was. It was a song that just had been around through a couple albums that never made albums. Always a good song, and it's really about my thing is telling me to do something. Plug in my AC. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so yeah, I love it. It's a great song. It was about being younger, and
I'm glad you put
maybe
that one out. Yeah,
maybe
really like that
when
one.
I don't know if you're married or in a relationship or what,
Yeah,
but just
yeah.
you
Married.
know, it, and it's just a game we play. It's just a chance you take with love because it
Yeah, yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
When it comes to love, it's not that easy, and to have
Oh
it,
no, you're telling me. Yeah,
it's a
it's a work in
challenge.
progress, isn't it?
And so that song to me, and maybe I should lie, and you tell her, hey, sometime or him or whichever, maybe I should lie and say I'd be all right without your love, but you won't be.
Yeah, yeah,
It would take part of you to give it up because you're not going to be all right without their love. But you're being
yeah,
facetious, and that's how I
yeah,
wrote it.
yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
should lie and say I'd be all right without your love. You know,
Really
and
nice track. Yeah,
but knowing that you're not,
yeah,
you're not going to be all right
yeah,
without him. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah,
because it takes a piece of your soul to fall. In my opinion, I've been in love. I've known love in
yeah,
my
yeah,
life a few
yeah,
times. Um, to give up that part of you is something you don't get back if you don't keep it together. You give it away forever, and it takes a
You
piece of
don't
you.
give it away to everyone, do you? No,
And I'm a
only
hopeless
the special
romantic.
people.
I'm a hopeless romantic, so
Yeah, yeah,
I believe in that stuff. I could write love songs all day, and
yeah,
I try not to. I always say, looking for love, wanting love, falling out of love, breakup song. You know, I know, and then of course there's always the sexy song, let's have sex song.
yeah. Good motivation for songs. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Women are my muse 100%. In
yeah,
fact, every song that's probably on albums is probably about a particular woman, and those women know who they are about. And so the joke has
yeah,
become, when you meet a woman, do you just tell them you're going to write them a song? I'm like, piss off. Don't.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's my band.
yeah,
My producer's
yeah,
giving me shit, just joking with me.
yeah,
Are you going to write her a
yeah.
song? They don't follow. Well, I'm not Oprah
There's going to
handing
be a
out
song
cards.
about an ex-girlfriend on the next Al Perez album.
You know what? Let's see. What is next? Yeah, there will be. There is a kind of R&B song called "I Don't Want to Fall in Love" that is absolutely about a lot
Yeah,
of ex-girlfriends. It's all. There are
yeah,
about three of them, and it's wrapped up into one.
yeah.
And it's about that time. Have you been married or in a relationship a long
I'm
time?
married at the moment. Yeah, yeah,
So you
yeah,
always say, when but when you're single or looking for love, you wonder if you're worthy of it. And that's part of the song. It's
yeah,
called "I Don't Want to Fall in Love," but you're actually just denying yourself the idea of love because you're. So I write in
yeah,
double and triple entendres. It's If
yeah,
you
yeah.
listen to my songs, you need to go back and listen harder because there is always at least two meanings to every one song
Yeah.
minimum.
Well,
I
that's
wrote I
interesting. Yeah,
You go back and listen and try to figure it out.
yeah,
The next time we talk, you can ask me the question.
yeah, yeah,
But there's
yeah.
at least there's a minimum of double entendres, but
Oh,
probably three. I do it on
yeah.
purpose. Oh
More than
yeah,
meets, more than what meets the eye, Al. Yeah,
way more. It's like a
yeah,
Kandinsky where there's a painting on the back
yeah,
of the painting. Got to turn it
yeah,
around.
yeah,
Yeah, it's that kind of
yeah,
idea where
yeah,
you know what I mean. The world famous painter. So he would paint a painting,
yeah,
but if he
yeah.
turned it over, there was a different painting on the backside.
So got the extra. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and so I try
yeah,
to do it. I didn't know it was an idea. I've written that way my whole life. So if you take a listen,
yeah.
there's
I
gonna
will
be
do. Yeah, I'll listen to it
there's
with.
gonna
Yeah,
be
see if I
there's
can
gonna be a
notice
hint.
anything
And I usually
different
don't tell
next
people that,
time.
but people find it, they'll hear it. So
Yeah,
it's in there.
yeah, yeah,
I try to be a little smarter than the average writer. I mean, it seems obvious, but I
yeah,
promise you, next time we talk, you ask
yeah,
me a
yeah,
question about a song, and I'll tell you what the other second part of it is. That the other
yeah. Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah, I'll hold you to that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely
there always
will.
is there's a
Yeah,
second part of it for sure.
yeah. Can I just ask Al who some of your favorite British artists are?
Oh my goodness, everybody. Again, we can start with Ozzy, and that's not because he just passed and everybody got a know Ozzy way. I, when I was very, very young, my aunts were really into rock music. One of the first albums I remember getting was the Black Sabbath album. And I kid you
Yeah,
not, my head was exploding. And I just thought, what in the world is this writing and interesting? Because, we grew up in, Motown and Beach Boys and some of
yeah.
the American stuff. And I'm like, well, what is this?
Totally alien to that, isn't it? That kind of
I
music.
just loved it, and of course, I like anybody that has a unique voice, like we said, we mentioned Rod Stewart. I,
Yeah,
in my youth, wanted to be somewhere between Rod Stewart meets Bob Seger with that kind of cool,
yeah, yeah,
scratchy, this
yeah, yeah.
cool.
Husky
I love
voice.
that
Yeah,
writing. I love the Beatles. I like the Who. I like some of the old.
yeah,
You'll find me say a lot of rock stuff. I love,
yeah,
when I was in my teenage years, I was totally into British metal. I seen Judas Priest more time. Are you there?
yeah.
Can you
Hi,
hear me?
got cut
Sorry,
off.
my
Yeah,
computer.
yeah.
I don't know why. I'm in my office, but my laptop went dead. I had it all plugged in, so I apologize. You were asking me
Okay, mate.
about.
Yeah,
I just picked up my phone. I was like, shit.
yeah, yeah,
I love Judas Priest. My
yeah,
goodness, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen them. Big Judas Priest fan.
yeah. They're still
I don't know
going
how.
really strong now, aren't they, on the live circuit?
You know what? I've seen them 80s, 90s up in the current. I've seen them since I was very young. I
Yeah,
liked
yeah,
stuff like Accept, and I liked some of that heavy Saxton and just all kinds of
yeah,
wild rock shit that I just loved all
yeah.
that stuff. You know,
That's
I
balls
can.
to the wall, isn't it? Except,
Oh my God, what a
yeah, I
great
know
freak.
that
I love,
song.
but I love Elton John.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that
yeah,
anything off or his early stuff, Yellow Brick Road and some of the early stuff
yeah,
of
yeah,
his, just magic, I mean, just I'm
yeah,
not saying all of his shit ain't good. His shit's great.
yeah.
And
Hope you like Queen as well.
oh my God, oh, that's funny you say Queen. I was just having this conversation. The producer of my album is a huge Queen fan. I've seen him 26 times for
Stop
since
it.
I don't even know.
Oh, God.
He's seen him to the 70s. He's a little older than I am, and he has pictures with Freddie Mercury, and and he's also seen him with all the alternate singers that have come along since.
I
Uh,
wish I would have saw Queen with Freddie Mercury.
yeah, I never saw Queen, but I'm a big fan. And of course,
Yeah, yeah,
I always kind of like of course, Somebody to Love or Fat Bottom
yeah,
Girls and all the stuff.
yeah,
Some of
yeah,
the typical things that I I was particularly fond of Fat Bottom Girls. I don't give a shit. I just love
yeah,
that.
that's great.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but really tongue in cheek, that isn't it?
Oh, you know what? And
Yeah,
to write that way,
yeah,
what a fantastic writer. I mean, and I know a
yeah.
lot of the guys in the band contributed, but
Yeah, that
you
was
could
Brian
always
May wrote that. Yeah,
yeah, and so, but what a cool thing. I wish people
yeah,
would hand me songs. I've never had that luxury in my life.
yeah,
Occasionally, if I write with somebody, it's going to be, they're going to hand me some music, but not lyrics. British stuff,
yeah,
British, the whole Amy Winehouse thing was awesome. I got a chance to play the
yeah.
100 Club when I was in London. I played
Oh,
with
nice one. Yeah, yeah,
Nine Below Zero. We sold out crowd there, and when we
yeah,
did 2 years ago, I did the 100. I mean, everybody that you guys have that's famous played there. I love Sting.
yeah.
I saw Sting in concert with Annie Lennox.
Right.
Back
Yeah,
in 2000s probably. And you talk about a fantastic concert. Both those people were,
yeah. Oh, two legends,
and that,
them singing Annie
yeah,
Lennox.
and I saw them play together, and it was funny because Annie Lennox was opening for Sting on his
Right,
tour,
yeah. It could have
and
been the other
Sting.
way around, couldn't it? Quite
Wait,
easily.
and that's
Yeah,
why Sting is Sting. Sting
yeah,
walks out and stops her in the middle of her first song and says, "I can't let you open for me. You're
yeah,
freaking Annie
yeah,
Lennox." And he
yeah,
goes, "Get
yeah,
off stage," and he throws her off stage and brings an acoustic guitar out and says, "I'm opening for Annie Lennox." And another
yeah,
acoustic
yeah,
guy came out and they played 3 songs acoustically. And then he
yeah,
said, "Okay, there, we opened for you. You are not opening for me." And I thought,
yeah.
Sting, you're a cool
Well,
son of a
that's
gun, man.
down to
You're
earth,
the
really down to
coolest.
earth, isn't it?
You're the
Yeah,
coolest dude ever, man. That's a cool shit right there. Not only
yeah,
you
yeah,
played with Annie Lex, you didn't let her open for you. You have so much class that you went out there, stopped her, and said, "Nope,
yeah.
I'm
That's a
opening for
nice story,
you."
mate. Yeah, yeah,
And that was a great show, and that was in
yeah,
Seattle. That was a
yeah,
great show, Seattle, Washington. That show, but to witness that, what are you gonna say?
yeah.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
So yeah, I
I
like.
spoke to Pat O'Banton, who's collaborated with him a couple of times. Yeah.
Are you a musician?
Oh, no, no, a music journalist. Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's wild, Again, I've seen some great. And
yeah.
don't get me started on country artists, but probably country like
Yeah.
Keith Urban is my favorite dude. I love Keith Urban. What
Yeah,
a
I think he
great.
sounds a bit like him as well. Yeah, a bit like Keith
I
Urban.
love. I do a version. I watched him once do a version of a Bee Gees tune. Oh, I love the Bee Gees, by the way. Great writer.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
great.
I do a version of "To Love Somebody." I can do a cool
Oh
ass
yeah,
version of a
yeah,
Bee Gees
yeah.
tune "To Love Somebody." I do a
Yeah, it's been
cool.
covered many times, that hasn't it? Like Michael Bublé.
Yeah, I do kind of a more, or I don't know what I kind of smoky voice, kind of R&B kind of thing to it on
Yeah, yeah,
piano, and I do. I'll send you a copy of it. We keep joking and toying around with maybe doing a cover of it on an album
yeah,
because,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, just Keith Urban, fabulous guy. I've had a chance to hang out with a lot of the country artists as well, and um, but there's too
Country's
many,
mega at the moment, isn't it? It's probably the
you know,
biggest genre in the world at the moment.
with
Country,
the road. Have you seen the
country.
show?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a show called The Road that's on right now, and so I'm friends with the gal that's on there. Brittany Kellogg is on there. She says she's from Arizona, but the truth is she's from
yeah,
here in this area where I live. And
yeah,
I just was at her show. My guitar player plays with her in her band when she's off tour needing a fill-in guitar player. I was just hanging out with her about a month ago.
yeah,
So when you see
yeah,
Brittany Kellogg on there, she
yeah,
is our
yeah,
hometown girl. I'm friends with her, so she's
yeah,
amazing. Check her out.
yeah.
She's
See, man.
she's a contender to win. Brittany's she says she's from Phoenix, Arizona, but she's from the Pacific Northwest where I live. She used to sing with friends of mine in another band. I won't say the name of it, but I've known Brittany a very, very long time since she was young, and she's on there and she's doing a great job. So I have to root for her. I think all the artists on there are fantastic, but I'm kind of rooting for Brittany because she's my girl, and we
She's
all
highly
know her.
recommended by yourself then, yeah?
Yeah, check her out, Brittany Kellogg. She's the girl on the road right now. She's on that series with Keith Urban and who's the other guy that's on there? The other judge. Who's the guy married to Gwen Stefani? I'm blanking out right now. Anyway, cool show. I don't like that competition stuff. I don't have the heart for it because I just want to play music. I don't want to compete like that. I'm non-competitive, believe it or not. People are like, no way. I'm like, that's not for me, man. I said I would never. I would be so stressed out because I think that I'll kick my ass. I'm joking. I think I'm as good as them. I just don't enjoy that type of competition. I'm an artist. I'm not a compete.
Your
I'm
own
not
thing, man,
competing.
yeah.
I'm not competing. I'm creating what I create. That's a different. But I appreciate it. If it can fast track their careers. Brittany had a great career before. She was like in the top 10, I believe, American Idol 15 years ago. So she's no slump. She knows her way around. She's beautiful. She's beautiful and she's super talented. And I'm calling her out. So Brittany Kellogg.
I'll check her out. And if you the other names you've mentioned, yeah.
Yeah. And that wasn't a name drop. I just know her and I appreciate her. And you mentioned the road, and I said Keith, Keith Urban, and that's a connection. But yeah, it's all fun stuff. Again, I love all British art. I love American stuff. I like anything interesting, and that's like good writing. That's all. At the end of the day, I don't see people ask me to get on political kicks, this, that, and the other. And I just say, here's the deal, man. I'm an artist. I just want to write music. I want to play music. If I was a politician, I'd be a politician.
Don't want to go down a political route now.
I don't have anything to say, other than love each other. Love comes in lots of different flavors. It comes in different flavors. I don't give a shit who you love, why you love. You identify with. I could care less. That don't mean nothing. On one of my albums, I have a song called "Two Girls in Love" that I wrote 20 years ago, and it was way ahead of the curve before anybody was really taking on those kind of songs. And I remember writing it, and they weren't sure they were going to put it on an album. And I said, it's really a love song about two women that I knew that I had met on the road. And I'd become very good friends with them. And my biggest joke about it was they had the same. I thought maybe if you married the same gender, you'd have less problems, but it's bullshit. I'm not. They have the exact same bullshit going. They still argue about what restaurant to go to, whose fault it was, who didn't take out the garbage. And I laughed about it. I said, "What's the advantage?" I was joking with them. Love has the same problems. It's all the same struggles. It's funny. So their names have been changed in that song. It's not their real names. They said, "Don't you dare use it." They said, "Don't you dare use our real names." I'm like, "You're stupid." But they're really close to their names, and they're like, "You almost said our name anyway." And I said, "I changed it. They're close enough." But Two Girls in Love, and I remember performing it and 20 years ago, and it really they weren't ready. And I was telling my band the other day that I'm sorry if that light's kind of hitting me weird. I said we should bring this song back. It's a good song, and I think we could revisit it, and I think it would have a little more understanding today than it did 20 years ago. It's funny how far.
I'll bring it back, Al. Yeah.
Good song. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a privilege talking to you, mate.
Well, thank you.
Well,
I love music. I appreciate journalists and time that that you guys do, and even photographers and everybody. People don't know what it takes to make art happen. It's you guys that interview us. It's the photographers that take the pictures. My videographer who shoots the shit. The producers who do it. I'm one person. It takes a big team of people to believe in you. Beyond just you doing what you love doing and want to do. So thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
I'll do some nice content to celebrate your music as well.
All right.
I'll put something on Instagram.
Yep. Did you happen to get a chance to see the video, the brothers video?
I've seen bits of it, yeah. It's very well shot, that, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what? It was very simple. When we did that, I had asked the producer, I said, "Hey, I've done production videos and location videos and 2-day shoots." I said, "Listen, no. This is personal. Let's just go to, I want to be in a black room with black clothes with my black Gibson guitar. I'm going to sit down and just tell the truth." He goes, "That's it?" I said, that's it. He goes, that's the whole thing. I'm like, that's the whole thing. I know I'm
Yeah,
not that young and pretty anymore, but make something of it. Do your shit. I'm messing with
it
him.
looks good.
He's
I
like, all
know.
right. And he's
Really
a young
effective
man.
that out. Yeah, yeah,
And you know, and he goes, that was really hard. But he goes, that was really good. I said, well,
yeah,
but again, that's his art.
yeah. Less is
People don't
more
realize I got
sometimes.
respect,
Yeah,
Jordan Highland, who's a producer of that video. Those guys are artists.
yeah,
Put
yeah.
some
It's
put some
definitely.
fucking old guy in a guitar in
Yeah,
a black room with black clothes on and make it look cool. That's art,
yeah.
man. That's art all
It's an
day.
art form, definitely. Yeah, definitely, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, well, hey, you can find my stuff, Al Perez. I'm on all the social medias,
definitely. Yeah,
Spotify,
yeah,
Apple, and all that stuff. And then, of course, if you want to see my music videos, go to Al
yeah.
Perez Music. I have a YouTube channel.
Will
It's
do.
Al
Yeah, yeah,
Perez Music. And my website is alperezmusic.com. So
yeah.
they're out there.
Nice.
Thank,
Yeah, excellent. Thanks for your time, Al.
thank you, man. Have
Speak
a
to you again
great.
soon. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I
Thank
get
you
over
so
there, we'll
much. Yeah,
catch up and
yeah,
I'll buy you a
yeah.
pint. There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah, yeah. See you in
For
UK
sure.
soon. Yeah.
Whenever I come
Fingers
over and people
crossed.
interview me, they never believe me that I contact them. But if we get a chance to say hello, I promise you I'll
Yeah.
come by and
Oh,
say
yeah.
hello.
Yeah. I'll hold you to that. I'll hold you to that.
Please
Thanks,
do. I
mate.
love it. I
Yeah.
love making new
Yeah.
friends. Take care. Have a
Yeah.
great rest
Cheers.
of your day.
Thanks, Al.
Bye
Take
bye.
care, mate. See you, pal.